The space station floated like a silver crown above the neutral trade world of Harian. Ships of every shape and size came and went from its glowing docks carrying cargo, diplomats, and the secrets of 1,000 species. To most visitors, the station was just another waypoint in the galaxy. But for Ethan Cole, a young human engineer, it was the most important posting of his life. Ethan had joined the Galactic Engineering Corps only 2 years earlier. He was clever, hardworking, and endlessly curious, but also nervous in big crowds. He preferred working with machines instead of people. Machines did not judge, and they did not expect perfect words. Yet here he was, standing in the middle of a polished reception hall filled with ambassadors, generals, and alien royalty. The reason for all the ceremony was clear. The Galactic Council had decided on a cultural exchange between humanity and the Valorians, a proud and mysterious alien species known for their elegance and strict customs. Their representative was none other than Lady Vera, the princess of her people, tall and radiant with skin that shimmered faintly under the light like polished metal. Her posture was perfect, every movement smooth and balanced as though guided by music unseen. Humans had been warned many times before the meeting. The commander of the human delegation repeated the rules like a mantra. Do not comment on physical form. The Valorians hold such remarks as sacred. Words about appearance are not casual to them. They are binding, heavy, almost ritual. Do not speak such words unless you wish to enter a cultural bond. Ethan had nodded along with the rest of the crew. He was not supposed to be anywhere near the main chamber anyway. His job was simply to ensure the translation devices functioned correctly. Without them, the humans and Valorians would only hear meaningless sounds. But fate had its own plans. As the meeting began, one of the devices crackled. A faint distortion buzzed in the air. The ambassador frowned and the commander whispered into Ethan's earpiece. Cole, check the unit, quickly. Ethan hurried forward, tools in hand. He crouched by the translator node opening its panel. His heart thudded. He could feel the stares of both humans and Valorians upon him. Sweat formed at his temple as he adjusted wires and tapped at the screen. The device hummed back to life. Relief washed over him, but in that moment he made the mistake of looking up. His eyes caught sight of Lady Vera standing tall in the center of the hall. She looked like a figure from a dream, poised with a calm that seemed beyond mortal reach. Her balance, the way she carried herself, seemed more than graceful. It was flawless. The thought burst in his mind unguarded. Her posture, her stance. It's perfect. Almost too perfect. Usually such thoughts stayed silent, hidden inside his head. But he had forgotten that the translator device's feedback loop was still active, connected not only to the council chamber, but also to the open air. His private thought slipped past his lips as a whisper, yet the device caught it, amplified it, and translated it. The words rang out, clear and echoing. Her form is perfect. A silence like a frozen wave swept across the chamber. Every delegate turned. Human officers stiffened in shock. Valorian guards pressed their hands to their weapons, their eyes narrowing. Ethan's blood drained from his face. He had not only broken the rule, he had shattered it in the most public way possible. He scrambled to his feet, stammering. I didn't mean it was, but before he could finish, Lady Vera moved. She tilted her head, her eyes glowing faintly with inner light. Her lips curved in the faintest of smiles. Instead of anger, her voice rose through the hall, calm and steady. At last, the translator repeated for all to hear. Someone notices. The entire chamber gasped. Humans blinked in confusion. Valorians exchanged quick, startled glances. Ethan stood frozen, unsure whether this was a good sign or the worst possible outcome. Vera stepped closer. Her elegant form cast a long shadow across the polished floor. She stopped before Ethan, who wanted nothing more than to sink through the ground and vanish. You are bold, she said through the translator. Perhaps reckless. Yet your words were not empty. Ethan opened his mouth to apologize, but no sound came out. His throat felt dry, his chest tight. He expected reprimand, maybe even removal from the hall. But instead, Vera lifted her hand and gestured softly. Among my people, she continued, to speak of form is to speak of truth. No one has spoken such truth to me in many cycles. You are the first human. The first being, in fact, to dare. The Valorian guards looked uneasy. One of them whispered, Princess, this is irregular. But Vera's expression grew sharper, more determined. Irregularity brings discovery. Let it stand. The human commander leaned toward Ethan, whispering urgently, "Stay quiet, Cole. Don't say another word." Ethan nodded weakly. He did not trust his voice anyway. Vera turned back to the council. "You all see. This human spoke without fear. By tradition, I must answer. His words cannot be dismissed." Murmurs spread across the chamber. Some human delegates looked horrified, others curious. A Valorian elder frowned deeply, muttering about protocol. But no one dared openly challenge the princess. Ethan's mind spun. What had he done? He only wanted to fix a machine, not to cause galactic history to bend around a single slip of the tongue. His knees felt weak. Yet inside, buried beneath the panic, a spark of wonder flickered. Vera had not punished him. She had smiled. She had called his words truth. And though Ethan could not yet understand it, his accidental comment had just set into motion a chain of events that would change both humanity and the Valorian people forever. Ethan's heart raced as he followed Princess Vera out of the Grand Council chamber. The Valorian guards flanked them, keeping a careful distance, yet even they looked slightly tense. The whispers of the council still echoed in his ears. He spoke of form, and she accepted it. The humans around him exchanged stunned glances, unable to believe what had just happened. Vera's stride was steady, elegant, and somehow calm, even in the midst of this unprecedented moment. She walked past the windows overlooking the glowing trade world below, the colors of the city reflecting off her shimmering skin. Her voice, soft yet commanding, broke the silence. "You fear," she said, not as a question but as a statement, "because you do not know what comes next." Many would have trembled and many would have been punished for such words, yet you spoke honestly. Ethan swallowed hard, trying to find the right response. Honest? He had just blurted out a thought he wasn't supposed to say. How could that be considered anything but reckless? I didn't mean to," he started, but Vera shook her head lightly. "Intent is less important than truth," she replied. "Your words revealed your perception. The way you see things is rare among humans. Few possess such openness. Fewer still speak it aloud." They entered a long corridor lined with shimmering panels that displayed alien landscapes, floating geometric patterns, and strange simulations that seemed alive. Ethan's eyes darted from one display to another, trying to take it all in, while his mind raced to process what Vera had just said. "Perception?" he finally asked. I just thought what I thought. I didn't mean anything. You underestimated your own worth," Vera interrupted gently. Mistakes, accidents, moments of unguarded thought, they often reveal truth more clearly than careful words. You have revealed that you see without fear, that your honesty is not a shield but a bridge. For this I must respond. Ethan stopped walking. His stomach tightened. Respond? What do you mean? Vera smiled faintly, a hint of mischief in her glowing eyes. Among my people, when one speaks of form and truth, a challenge is offered. It is not punishment nor reward. It is a trial of spirit. Only by passing it can one demonstrate the depth of understanding behind their words. Ethan's mouth went dry. A trial? What kind of trial? Vera paused in front of a large door, its surface shifting like liquid metal. You will see soon enough. It is neither simple nor dangerous unless you allow fear to guide you. It is a test of perception, courage, and clarity of heart. As the door slid open, Ethan's eyes widened. Beyond it stretched a vast simulation chamber larger than any hall he had ever seen. The floor shifted beneath their feet in subtle waves, creating the illusion of movement. Floating platforms hovered in mid-air, connected by glowing pathways. Panels along the walls displayed impossible landscapes. Forests with purple leaves, rivers of liquid light, mountains that floated like islands in the sky. This is where we begin, Vera said. Your journey will test your honesty, your creativity, and your ability to see beyond appearances. Are you ready? Ethan's throat felt tight. I think so. I hope so. Vera's eyes softened. Hope is a beginning. Action is proof. They stepped forward, and the floor beneath them shifted into a floating platform that rose slowly into the air. Ethan gripped the edge, his mind spinning. He had not expected this. Not the challenge, not the floating platforms, not the strange alien landscapes. Yet there was something exhilarating about it. The first test appeared almost immediately. A series of obstacles materialized before them. Floating barriers, shifting walls, and gaps that seemed impossible to cross. Ethan looked at Vera, She did not hesitate. With graceful steps, she moved across the platforms, adjusting her balance flawlessly. "You must navigate the path," she said, "but not with speed. You must observe, understand, and respond with insight. Your words are tested here, Ethan Cole, as much as your body. Will you see truth clearly under pressure?" Ethan nodded, taking a deep breath. He stepped forward cautiously, feeling the slight sway of the platform beneath him. His first instinct was panic. He almost jumped too soon, nearly missing the next platform. But then he remembered Vera's words: observe, understand, respond. He slowed his steps, watching the patterns in the movement of the platforms, noticing subtle shifts in the glowing energy. To his surprise, he found that moving carefully, paying attention to small details, allowed him to advance steadily. Each platform he crossed felt like a small victory, and he began to feel a strange confidence. "Good," Vera said, her voice calm, almost approving. "You see clearly. Few humans possess such patience and clarity of thought. Most would rush and fail." Ethan flushed. I'm just trying not to fall." "Then you have succeeded," she replied, her tone carrying a quiet humor. The next stage of the trial appeared, a chamber of mirrors reflecting multiple versions of themselves. In each reflection, Ethan noticed subtle differences in Vera's posture, expression, even the color of her skin. One reflection smiled, another frowned, another appeared to shimmer more than the rest. "You must choose the reflection that reflects truth," Vera explained. "Not the one that pleases the eye or that entertains the mind, but the one that speaks to reality as you perceive it." Ethan hesitated, studying each reflection. His instincts wanted to pick the one that looked most like her in the chamber. But he realized that truth was not about perfection. It was about the presence, the honesty, and the balance she carried. Carefully, he pointed to a reflection that moved naturally, its form unassuming yet perfect in balance. Vera's eyes glowed softly. "Correct," she said. "You see more than surface. You see essence." Ethan felt a mix of relief and disbelief. Each stage of the trial tested him not physically but mentally and emotionally. And with each success, he realized that what he had thought was an accident, his careless words, was being transformed into an opportunity. By the end of the simulated landscapes, Ethan's confidence grew. He had crossed impossible platforms, discerned truth in mirrors, and even solved puzzles that tested empathy and perception. Vera walked beside him, silent but watching, occasionally nodding. "You are learning quickly," she finally said, her voice carrying a tone of quiet pride. "Your honesty, your openness, your courage, they are rare qualities. They make you worthy of the trust my people reserve for those who see beyond appearances." Ethan could barely process her words. He had expected anger, maybe exile from the trial. Instead, he had earned recognition not for skill alone, but for something deeper, his human honesty and perception. And he knew in that moment that the journey had only just begun. The final stage of the trial loomed ahead. Ethan and Princess Vera stood on a wide platform suspended over a sea of glowing light. The air shimmered with energy, humming softly like the heartbeat of the station itself. The chamber around them seemed endless, filled with drifting shapes that looked like fragments of dreams, cities, forests, and stars appearing and fading like mist. Ethan wiped his palms on his uniform. His legs still trembled from the earlier challenges. He had crossed shifting platforms, solved puzzles of perception, and faced illusions that bent his mind. Each time, Vera had guided him with quiet words, but the effort had been his. Now he wondered what could possibly remain. Vera turned to him. Her glowing eyes reflected the strange light. Her voice was calm but carried a weight that filled the chamber. "This is the last trial," she said. "Not of body, not of puzzle, but of truth itself. You must stand before me and answer one question. Your answer will decide everything." Ethan swallowed hard. "One question?" "Yes," Vera replied. She took a step closer, her presence both graceful and commanding. "When you spoke of my form, the council thought it reckless. Yet I saw no insult. I saw courage. Now I ask you, what did you truly see in that moment? Was it only surface, or was it something deeper?" The chamber grew silent. The glowing sea below them pulsed slowly, like it was waiting for his answer. Ethan's heart pounded. He had not expected this. He thought the trial would end with another puzzle, another test of skill. But this was different. This was personal. He looked at her, truly looked, not at the shimmer of her skin, Not at the perfect way she stood, but at her presence, the way she carried herself with dignity, the way she looked at him without judgment, the way she had guided him through every trial with patience. Ethan took a deep breath. His voice shook, but he spoke honestly. When I looked at you, I thought your balance, your stance, your presence was perfect. Not just beautiful, but strong. It wasn't just appearance. It was the way you seemed whole, as if nothing could shake you. That's what I saw. That's the truth. For a long moment, silence filled the chamber. Vera's face was unreadable. Ethan's chest tightened, fearing he had failed. Then slowly she smiled. Her voice rose, and the translator echoed her words across the chamber. You have answered well. You spoke not only of form, but of essence. You saw beyond surface, and you dared to speak it. Few in this galaxy have done so. Fewer still with honesty. The chamber erupted with light. The sea below them flared, sending waves of glowing energy up into the air. The fragments of dreams, the cities, forests, and stars spiraled around them in a dazzling display. Ethan shielded his eyes, overwhelmed by the sight. Vera raised her hand, and the light bent around her. By the law of my people, this trial is complete. Ethan Cole of humanity has spoken truth. He is recognized. The platform lowered slowly, carrying them back to the council chamber. The walls of light faded, and once again Ethan found himself standing before the assembled delegates. The humans looked anxious, the Valorians tense. No one knew what to expect. Vera stepped forward and raised her voice for all to hear. This human spoke of my form. By our tradition, such words demand a trial. He has completed it with honesty and courage. Therefore, by Valorian custom, I answer him with recognition. Gasps rippled through the chamber. One of the Valorian elders rose to his feet. Princess, you would honor a human in such a way? Yes, Vera replied firmly. Because he has shown what others could not. He saw me not as a title, not as a symbol, but as myself. For that, he is worthy of alliance. Ethan's mouth fell open. Alliance? I didn't mean. Vera turned to him, her eyes softening. Mistakes reveal truth more than careful words. Your honesty has bound us together. What you began with accident, we now carry forward with choice. She extended her hand. In it, a crystalline object appeared, glowing faintly. Its shape shifted as though alive, forming patterns that reflected light in endless colors. This is the bond token, she explained. It is given only once in a generation, to one who proves worthy of eternal trust. With it, humanity and the Valorians are joined. The council chamber erupted in shocked whispers. The human commander stared at Ethan as though he had sprouted wings. The Valorian guards looked stunned, their discipline shaken. Ethan's mind reeled. A token of eternal trust? He had only wanted to fix a translation device. Now he was holding the future of two civilizations in his hands. Slowly, with trembling fingers, he accepted the token. It felt warm, almost alive, pulsing softly like a heartbeat. The translator echoed Vera's final words. Let this day be remembered. The words of a human, spoken in accident yet born of truth, have built a bridge no council could create. From this moment, our peoples are bound not by treaty, but by recognition. The human delegates rose to their feet, some in disbelief, others in awe. The Valorian elders, though reluctant, bowed their heads in respect. For the first time, humanity had not only earned the respect of the Valorians, but something deeper, an alliance forged by honesty. Ethan stood in the center of it all, his heart still racing. He had never felt smaller, yet never more significant. His clumsy words, his unguarded thought had changed the course of history. Vera leaned close enough for only him to hear. Do not fear, Ethan Cole, you have done more than you realize. And our story is only beginning. Her smile was calm, steady, and beyond belief.